Speaking of the U.S., you might have seen that the Democrats, of course, swapped out their leader for someone new, and Kamala Harris is enjoying kind of a wave of popularity, and she's surged in the polls and is now competitive with Donald Trump, and there's a lot of enthusiasm among party members. Have you taken anything away from that for the Canadian example? Does that give you pause and make you think maybe we should do something here and swap out Trudeau and go for somebody who could revive the Liberal Party fortunes here?
Good question. Look, Canada and the U.S., although there are similarities, there are a lot of differences. And, just because the Democrats do something in the United States does not then mean that we should be doing that here in Canada as Liberals. What I do think is that progressive voters are looking for that continued hope, right? That continued ability to make progress, advance how we are building a inclusive and progressive society and economy. And I think, what our job as Liberals is to demonstrate to Canadians that that's the path that we're on, and that's the path that we must continue on, because we do face headwinds from, to be honest, some pretty extreme right-wing views in our own country right now. And so let's make sure that we are putting forward that plan, that agenda, that vision for Canada that I believe Canadians want to choose.
I'm Minister Mackenzie Gray with Global News. Just going back to the answer they gave to Tonda, you outlined some of your greatest political hits. You're talking about child care, dental care, child benefit. Is it, in your estimation, that this is just a communications problem for the Liberals, that you need to sell these things you've already done better, or that fundamental political change needs to happen to get those voters that you used to have back on side?
I think there's a little bit of both, right? I think on the one hand, it's recognizing that these things don't just happen, right? You have to have a government that is committed to improving the lives of Canadians in real and tangible ways, to get things like childcare, to get things like the Canada Child Benefit, and to get things like dental care. We know that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party of Canada and their members of Parliament are against those things, right? Even though they voted for childcare, if you actually listen to their speeches in the House of Commons, they basically equate it with socialism and, talk about the fact that if they were to get elected, they would make it more conservative. I don't really know what that means, because when I speak to Canadian parents, they like having access to a quality space, and they like having access to an affordable space. So yes, we have more work to do, right? We absolutely have more work to do to build more spaces and to make sure that it's accessible to every Canadian child that needs a space. But throwing out the system is not a solution. On the other hand, it's about making sure that we are thinking about what the future of Canada looks like and providing that vision of a progressive future for Canadians and enabling them to make that choice. So it's both. It's, about us talking about the things that we're doing and talking about them in a way that is meaningful for Canadians and that connects with them. But it's also about listening and responding to the needs of Canadians and sharing what our vision for the future is.